Hello and welcome. So it is the start of week 3 of our 10-week boot camp series. And today we are going to kind of piggyback a little bit off of what we talked about last week. Like I said, everything kind of goes on top of each other. And the more you participate in each week and the more that you actually do the homework, the more you're going to get out of it by the end of the summer. So this one is about planning your work and working your plan. So it sounds pretty simple and it's pretty basic, and it is, but it's the execution that most people have issues with. So this is where your consistency is going to come into play. So if you've not done your homework for last week, I suggest that you do that. It's only going to help you do this week's even easier. So how do you plan? Okay, so for somebody like me who is horrible with organization, sometimes I have all of these big ideas in my head and I get so overwhelmed. I'm a big picture thinker, and so I kind of am not very good at the details. It's just who I am, and it's not something that I'm probably going to change. I'm 40. I've been doing this my whole entire life, and I know that. I understand what my weaknesses are, so I understand what I need to do to compensate for them. So the first thing is, how do you plan? How do people plan? So if you're in this business, a social selling, network marketing type of business, we've done something wonderful for you at Posh. If you go into the box and go into your resources, and you're going to find that we have planners in there for you. We have social media planners. We have calendars. We have tips on things that you should do every week, every day, and how to fill it out. So the first part is, where can I find resources to help me? What do I need to even do in my business? So how should I plan that? So the first step in this is you're going to need to go to the box and you're going to need to download some of those very helpful resources. Another thing you can do is I'm a planner person because I know I'm not very good with the details, so I have to physically write the details down and do a checklist and make sure that I'm checking them off. So a planner works nicely as well. A lot of times what I'll do is I'll go in to the box and look at some of those resources. Because, it talks about, did you contact 3 customers today? Do a social media post for the day. It's very step-by-step, and it gives you tons of ideas that you can do for your business, regardless of what level you are. If you're a social posher, are you a part-time posher, or are you a career posher? And then what I like to do is I like to go in, and I do this in the beginning of every month. The first of the month is really kind of busy for me because that's when I do all my planning as best as I can. And I will do stuff either in pen or pencil, depending on, is this imperative that it gets done on this day and this time. So that is the first thing, is knowing how to plan your business and finding the resources to help you figure that out. So make sure you do go into the box and look that up. The other thing is, so you can plan anything you want, right? How many times do you plan meals for a week, right? It's the same concept. So I do a meal plan, and I say, okay, I know at the beginning of each week, I need to dedicate at least 30 minutes of my day to figuring out what we need at the grocery store. So I'm going to make my grocery list. I'm going to make my meal list. See how the lists are working? But I also know that it takes time to do that. So I make sure that I dedicate 30 minutes a week to meal planning, for example. Because the time that you plan saves money. Because how many times do you go to the store and you don't have a list, and then you end up impulse buying and buying, or you forget, and then you get home and you're like, oh, I was going to make this meal and I don't have the main ingredient for it. Planning your business is exactly the same. You have to give it time, and that can be anything from, you know what, I'm going to give myself an hour every day to I'm going to give myself 4 hours every day. And it's going to depend on your level of business. Are you a protege? Did you just start? believe it or not, proteges who are wanting a very successful business and aren't just social sellers for the discount, will probably spend more time on their business than some premiers do. Because if you get going, up and running in those 90 days and commit a lot of, time to it and hit it to the wall, you're going to be very, very successful. And track record has shown those who do their 90-day props and training, because that's the other thing, if you're brand new, you've got prep video that you need to commit to, which they're not long, but still it's time, right? And then you also have your meeting your props. So you've got your sales, you're sharing this information, and then you're new. So you're learning about the company, you're learning about the products, you're learning about the ingredients. And you should be using the items from your kit every day to get familiar with them. So if you're a protege starting out who wants a booming business, you will spend more time on it than somebody who, say, is even just a part-time posher that says, I do this to make $200 a week or a month, sorry. So you need to decide which level of involvement you want to commit. In this business, you get out of it what you put in it. If you want to put an hour in, you're going to get an hour's worth of income. If you want to put 8 hours in, you're going to get 8 hours worth of income. So keep that in mind. So set up a schedule in your planner. Time management is really important with this business since it is flexible. So you're not going to a job, you're not punching the clock, you don't necessarily have deadlines. So it's a lot of discipline, right? Like running your own business has more discipline than working in an office. So you need to be able to make sure you're hitting your own deadlines, make your own deadlines, set up your schedule. So something else that I like to do when I really need to get something done, I'll turn Facebook off because that's a distraction, right? You turn off your TV and those sorts of things. Lock yourself in your room. And if you don't have an office, lock yourself in your bedroom. Stay away from your kids, husband. My dogs bark all the time. So like when I'm doing these videos, I'm trying to shut everything off. So get rid of your distractions because your time is important. It's your time for you, and it's for you to work on your business. And if you have distractions, so like let's say I'm giving myself an hour today. And if you have distractions, you might have only given your business 30 minutes. And you're going to see that in your paycheck. You really are. Another really great way to sort of figure out what your plan is have a goal board. Goal board, goal board, goal board. And I say this a lot. And if you ever want to read a really amazing book about writing down your goals and sending stuff out into the universe is what they call it. The Secret's really, really good. And it talks about that. And then there's a lot of principles in Buddhism that also talk about, what you put out into the universe, you get back, and kind of declaring it type of thing. And it works. Like, I don't just do that with my business. I do it with lots of things. Because I think sometimes when we write it down, we've committed it to ourselves. We've got ourselves in the right positive mental attitude to do it. And it's exciting when we hit a goal, right? Like, I love being able to check stuff off my list, and I love being able to celebrate a goal that I've reached. So goal boards are very important. Some people do monthly ones, and some people do yearly, and some do both. I do both. I say, okay, and I do mine fiscal year. I don't do mine like January to December for my business. Our fiscal year in Posh starts in July and ends in June. So I say, okay, so I'm getting ready to do mine for next year. So I'm getting ready to say, here's how I want my business to grow. Here's some components I want to add to it. And here's some goals I want to reach. And then monthly, even if it's as simple as in the beginning of my planners, every month I have a little space here. And I go through and say, okay, this is what I want to do in my business. I want to increase my business by this much sales, by this many people. This is what I want to do personally, reach out to this many customers. Goal boards, make sure you have them. So the other thing is okay, you have your goals. Do you know what that is? Do you know what your goals are? If you want to, I'm going to be very honest with you. It's simple. It's easy. If you want to grow your business and you want to be successful, get the monthly award every single month. Not only does that reward you with, income, commission, Posh Points, possibly a consistency award, possibly a trip to home office annually, just depending. It also is growing your business. So let's say, and I say go for the maximum recruits versus sales. In my humble opinion, your business is going to take off faster when you get your 3 recruits a month versus 1. So, and actually don't stop at 3. That's the minimum that you need for monthly award. So know what you need for that. If you have a goal and say, I want to hit the monthly award. Do you even know what the monthly award is? Do you even know what you need to do to get it? Write that down, research that, figure that out. And sometimes it's like, okay, I know I need to get 3 recruits. How am I going to do that? How, break it down and make it easier. I know, generally speaking, that if I contact at least 10 people, one of those people will sign up for my business. General rule. So if I want to get 3 recruits this month, I need to be contacting at least 30 people to join my business. I need to be sending out 30 business opportunity packets to people. Do I have those business opportunity packets ready? You should. You should have 30 ready every month. Following up with customers. I know if I want to do $1,000 in sales, that's at least 4 parties. At least 4 parties. Do I have 4 parties booked, whether it's online, whether it's home? Am I following up with at least 10 customers a week for reorders, for new samples, and those types of things? So once you know what your goal is, you write it down and you break it down and you make it easier. And then you say, okay, so I have to contact 30 people this month. That's a lot to do in one day. I'm going to do 10 people a week. And that gives you, 3 weeks and then that little week at the end for a buffer. Do those types of things. So when you're planning your month, you can say, okay, on Monday, I'm going to contact 2 customers 2 people for possible, to join my team. On Tuesday, 2 people, and that sort of thing. Track your success. Did you, and when I say success, I'm not just saying, oh, I got a recruit, it's successful. Track your success. Did you do what you said you were going to do? Did you contact 2 people that day? Check that off and give yourself a pat on the back. Because sometimes the execution and the follow-through is just as successful as getting that recruit. Because you're planting seeds and you're making that touch contact with each customer. So what does your schedule look like? This is where I want you to go to the box and download some of those resources. It talks about social media, talks about, are you doing a YouTube video a week? Are you reaching at least a customer a day? So I mix my days up where one day I'm working on my company, one day I'm working on my team, one day I'm working on my personal business. And I split it up like that. Another thing is, what should the benchmarks be? Right? So for a social posher who's just kind of in the business to get your discount and have fun. Usually that's what everyone's here to have fun, but our social poshers really, they're here for connections. So your benchmark is $200 a month. That helps to keep you consistent. That helps you to keep you engaged in your business, and it gives you some income, right? Part-time posh. You should be doing at least $500 in sales and 1 recruit every month. If you want to stay consistent with part-time and earn an income that gives you what you would get from a part-time business, even a part-time job, then that's what you need to do. And if your career, you really need to be doing $1,000 in sales every month and 3 recruits. Okay, so monthly award, keep that. Okay, so a few tips to help you that I've learned along the way that I actually failed at. So learn from my mistakes, okay? Track your sales every single day. Every morning what I do is I pull up my downline, my account, and get out my calendar and I say, okay, here's where we ended our sales yesterday and here's where we ended our recruits. And what's awesome is I can go back to last year and see if we're similar as far as growth and if we're on pace to hit the same growth percentages that we did in the previous year. And sometimes what's really great about this is you might think, oh my goodness, our sales are so low. What is going on? And then you go back and you look at last year like, oh, we're on pace to finish exactly the same as we did last month. It's just the nature of the business. Another thing is I told you to set your goals every month and write them down. Another tip is invest in a planner. They have them at Target for really inexpensive as well. So it's nice because I have everything in one spot here. So those are some ways to plan your work and work your plan. The biggest part is you need to plan it first, right? And then you need to execute it. So your homework for this week is really simple. I want you to come up with goals. What are your goals? What are your monthly goals? What are your yearly goals? And I want you to do a dream board. So that's pretty simple, right? So that's step one. And I want to see your goal boards. I'm not seeing you guys do your homework, and that's really disappointing because I'm investing this time into giving you this training that you asked for your business. And I need you guys to make sure that you're executing and doing the work. If you were to sit down, you should be able to get it all done in an hour. An hour a week is all I'm asking for from you. And you'd be surprised if you do the work, what comes from it. The other thing I want you to do, so you only have 2 things this week, is the box. Go to the box. Click on the resources and click on every single folder in there. Don't recreate the wheel. Look and see what Posh has already provided for you. As far as training, as far as printouts, as far as handouts, as far as ideas. And save time. That really saves time. They've done that for you so you don't have to. So thank you for joining me. This one's a little bit longer because there is a lot going into planning things. So goal board and box is your homework. And I look forward to seeing them. Thanks, ladies.